What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having a great night. Free agency is in the air. It's technically day one, even though we all just saw the chaos from the last few days. So the tampering period, they might as well just call that day one. But yeah, we'll call her day one. So we're going to go through day one today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the moves the Eagles made, the additions, the losses, and who is remaining here. And then, of course, we'll go around the NFL and take a look at everything that's gone down. And look, if you missed any of the shows the last couple of days, they have all of the moves from around the NFL, all the Eagles moves, everything you need to know. And there are individual videos for a lot of these guys. So go check them out. But I appreciate you tuning in live tonight. Let's talk some birds. So any questions, any comments that you have, feel free to leave them down below. But we're going to start it off talking about those Eagles. That's right. We're going to talk about Howie's magic here. And a lot of people feel in a certain way about certain people being brought back, certain people being let go. I'm pretty sure people are just going to be miserable no matter what you do. So you got to find the positivity and see the light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of all of that chaos. So we know that, we're staying patient here in the offseason. We're probably going to lose a lot of those free agents, but that is because we need to re-sign a few of them, give Jalen Hurts his extension, and we're going to need some of that money for the free agents and everything else we've talked about this offseason. So, look, let people get all worked up. We're here at day one of free agency, and dude, it's funny to see the chaos, but I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I see the comments are pouring in already. What is going on, my man? Appreciate you. Yo, my dude, Samuel in the building as well. What is going on? Yes, we still want Chauncey. What's good, my man? Appreciate you tuning in. Look, it's a lot of chaos, and I'm here to try to make sense of it. So whatever questions, anything you've got, I'm going to try to go through it here. I'm going to show you the list of players. We'll talk about it. And we've been talking about all of these things the last few days. Yes, I'm going to say it here at the beginning, and I'll continue saying we want CJ Gardner-Johnson back. That is clearly the biggest thing the Eagles need to worry about. Orlando. Yes, I know all the moves. I'm about to show all them. You do not have to fill up the chat with those. I appreciate that, though. But let's go ahead and take a gander at some of these moves that the Eagles made. And we'll start it off with the losses here. Everybody losing their mind. The Eagles lost everybody. It's over. Okay. Well, Andre Dillard was a backup left tackle. We knew he was leaving. Miles Sanders, well, we knew he was leaving. We brought in Rashad Penny. We got Kenneth Gainwell, Trey Sermon. I'm sure we'll have our eyes there in the draft. And, well, they're still free agents. Then you look at the defensive side of the ball. You lose Edwards and White, both of your starting linebackers. We know Nakobe Dean is to step into a starting role, but who else is going to be that guy? And, well, you're definitely going to see the Eagles add to that room, whether it be free agency and draft, and I think it will be both. So look for upgrades on the roster throughout this offseason. This is not a one-day thing. I don't know where people get that from, but it's a process here. And, look, we lost Marcus Epps. We lost Javon Hargrave. So, 2 more starters, and oh my God, it's the end of the world. But we drafted Jordan Davis for a reason. And Marcus Epps leaving, we talked about that as well. Reed Blankenship really stepped it up, but I think the Eagles need to draft a safety. And look, I think with one of those higher picks, there are some options there. So we'll see. But obviously, there is a name we're going to talk about in a second that is very important to that position. Now, the additions, this is really what matters here. You brought back Kelsey. You got Graham, and then, of course, last night, James Bradberry. Boston Scott is back, Brett Toth, Fletcher Cox, and then, of course, just mentioned Rashad Penny was added. So you added one player from a different team, but you brought back some important pieces. We talked about Kelsey. Of course, we knew he was coming back. Boston Scott talked about the versatility of his game, what he provides as depth, and a jack of all trades. So happy to have him back. Brett Toth, talked about him. Look, he's going to compete this summer. This is not like this guy's a lock to make the roster even. So just a name added to the list, and good luck to you. He can help you at guard and tackle. So that's why he has been dancing off and on this roster the last couple of years. Now on defense, man, having Cox and Graham back, I love that. We talk about the rotation of the defensive line. These guys are going to see limited snaps. It's going to be the younger guys getting the predominant amount of snaps here now. So they're back on cheaper deals, hometown discounts, and I love it. Bradberry, he got locked up, and I thought Howie worked a pretty amazing deal there. And I'm pretty excited that we have him locked up the next 3 years. And We're going to see what else moves we can make, but that is definitely one of my favorite things to happen so far and got me pretty excited. Now let's jump into these remaining free agents because I know that's what you want to talk about. So you see here, we talked on the offensive side of the ball. Tyree Jackson, that is a very cheap contract. You tender him, and he plays for absolutely nothing against the cap. But if he doesn't pan out, you just cut him. So it's not a big deal. But if you think he's a complete failure, then you just don't even tender him. So we'll see what we do there. But I think he's the only real guy that has a chance of coming back. It sounds like Malu is going to be out the door. Now, I really hope that is not the case. I was very hopeful that we were going to be able to re-sign him, but it sounds like a bunch of teams are bidding pretty high on him. So we're going to have to try to match what they're doing out there. I hope we definitely can. But, Minshew, Pascal, I don't think they're coming back. Brett Kern, definitely not coming back. On the defensive side of the ball, though, that top name right there, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, Darius Slay was on this list because this graphic's from earlier, and they talked about him being released. Now, this is something we have to talk about. So, yes, I want C.J. Gardner-Johnson back for all the comments that are coming in to say that. Yeah, we all want him back desperately. Please, God, Howie Roseman, sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The rest of those guys on the line, I don't think they'll be back. But Darius Slay. So I made a video earlier, if you guys didn't catch it, but talking about the money, right? That's what it always comes down to, and everybody seems to forget that, well, this is a business too. So Darius Slay's money is clearly an issue, and we've talked about that. I think I have this graphic here. Yes, so this graphic from earlier today, and, well, actually, this is from a couple months ago when we talked about this. So you have to do something with them. Now, we talked about restructuring or extending him. Did not want to trade him. Don't want to cut him. But it sounds like right now they're having a snag here as to the money that will be made off an extension or a restructure. So not coming to terms there. So what could happen is you talk about, remember what I said, last year with Fletcher Cox, we released him. But as I said then, be prepared to watch him come back because of the fact that he's just going to get a new contract. We're still going to have that dead money, but we're going to save all of that. So that $17.5 million with a post June 1st designation, you will save that $17.5 million. So if you re-sign him to a new contract, give him a 1 year, whatever the hell, and then the thing we need to worry about is the cap hit. We're not Jeffrey Lurie. We're not paying the damn money. So we worry about those cap hits. And if you can get a much smaller cap hit and say his next cap hit is only $3.5-4 million, well, then you're just taking that off of that $17.5 million that you just saved right there. You still saved $13.5 million. So you can bring Darius Slay back if you release him, but they haven't released him. So I keep seeing all this stuff. He's going to the Vikings, going to the Ravens. I cannot stand when people just make shit up and hope to be right. It's like, dude, please stop doing that. But it's going to continue happening. But the fact of the matter is they are trying to keep Darius Slay, just like we've been talking about and we talked about earlier. But if we don't come to terms, we will let him walk. Like it's a double-edged sword here, ladies and gentlemen. You can go either way with this one. And I hope we can keep him. And I know that they want to keep him, but if he's asking for too much and this extension or restructure is just not what he wants to hear, well, then look, you heard that they tried to trade him and nobody's willing to, give whatever to restructure this, that, the other thing. They want to save this space instead. So, because you're not going to save it if you trade him now. So some interesting things there. And I think, look, we're going to find out tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have this thing cleared up, but do not lose hope. There is hope. And you saw a post from Josina Anderson tonight saying, that there is still hope. They are trying to get things done. The Eagles do not want to let him go. And that was never the case. That no matter what anyone was saying, they never wanted to get rid of him. He never wanted to be traded. His agent is just doing what an agent does. And that's Drew Rosenhaus. We all know who that is. So he's going to do what he has to do to get things done for his players. And he's one of the top corners out there. I know that his play declined. He gave up the touchdown in the Super Bowl, but he's still one of the best corners. So you can't deny that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, but we shall see. I really hope that he comes back, though. What position do you think we take at 10? Hopefully the best available, as I was saying last night. A lot of great great positions available, and we'll be talking about the draft when we get into that stuff. Need CJ back indeed. SFT just tweeted Slay wasn't officially cut. Exactly. So, they're going to keep spinning whatever they need, but I would love to get me some Darius Slay back. And we talked about it. That doesn't mean I don't want us to still draft one, because I want somebody to be able to learn under these guys. So he's not back yet, but I'd like for him to be back. So let's go. 64 million for Orlando Brown. Yeah, holy shit. So look, let me see here real quick. Are you saying that she just said that? I will shit my pants if that's happening. Yeah. Wow, Darius Slay will be released. Cannot work a deal. I'm confused. Why does it say that? Oh, okay. They're retweeting their retweet. Okay. You see what I mean? So appreciate you putting that in the chat. But look, this is something we have tried to talk about for a long time now, right? I think these kind of moves are expected, and people are going to run with what they hear. I heard he was going to a bunch of places earlier today. Now, that's not the case. So let's go, baby. Let's go. And you could still bring CJ back. So want to see that go down. Let's effing go. Have a great insight. Yo, I appreciate that. Yeah. And Lord Brunson's my dude, and I'm going to have him on this show here. We've obviously got some pandemonium going on with free agency. So as soon as that clears up a little bit, going to have him on. But really appreciate that, my man. And looking forward to pumping out as much content as I can when it comes to interviews and everything else. So look forward to hearing from you, my man. Appreciate you taking the time. So I'll say, yes, we were just talking about that. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's a little cherry on the top for the day. I'm all about it. Yes, we do. And look, we're going to get things figured out with Lane tomorrow, whether we have to release Lane Johnson and then re-sign him to a new deal. Just the same thing we were talking about. If they can't come to terms on a restructure, that will happen. So if you wake up and you see he got released, don't shit your pants because he might get re-signed right away. Those kind of things have to happen if you can't come to terms. So just be prepared. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but if they don't restructure, things like that can happen. So be prepared. I'm pumped up though. Let's go. Slay back in the building. Yes, it seems very possible indeed, and I'm pretty excited about it. Let's effing go. But let me pump through this real quick, and we're gonna have to talk about this Slay thing individually here off of this. So let me show you here what was done around the NFL today before we keep going with this. But let me show you here real quick. Here's the offensive side of the ball. Let me move this comment. Oh, it is Jacoby Brissett going to Washington. Zeke gets cut. Hardy to the Bills. Hurst to the Panthers. You see some guys re-sign. If it just shows their team and then a dash, that means they re-signed. If it shows obviously a new team, that's where they went. If it's a question mark, that means they got released. Matt Ryan released today. James Robinson went to the Patriots. Juju goes to the Patriots. Jamal Williams to the Saints. Rife to the Pats. Montgomery to the Lions happened late last night. But look, you got some things that went down. You've got also a second list of offensive guys. Golladay gets cut. Jeff Smith going to replace him. I'm not sure why it doesn't say. He went back to the Giants. He went to the Giants, not staying with the Jets. PJ Walker to the Bears. Homer to the Bears last night. That happened. Just adding any names that weren't on the list prior. So if you go back and watch any of these, you can see where everybody went. So Clowney gets released. You see on defense, Holcomb goes to the Steelers. Tremont Smith to the Broncos. Poyer stays home. Solomon Thomas. All of these great things going down. And then the final list for defense there. Beautiful to see. Beautiful to see indeed. If you need to re-see those, obviously rewind and pause that bad boy. But always trying to put in as much work as I can. So if there's anything I missed, please feel free to let me know. They think it was a little weird. They just up and cuts. Yeah, man, we talked about that earlier, though. They got to get that money right, man. That's what it's all about. So let's effing go. Let's go. Hey, you know it, bro. No days off, no time off, bro. It's nuts. But hey, what's going on, Liz? Hope you enjoyed the Slay news. Let's go. But getting pretty excited. Just wanted to recap the day, but I'll be right back because I want to get some graphics here together. But it's back on a Neil deal. No, we're going to restructure, extend him. Slay will. Yes, indeed. Zeke cost. I wouldn't pay Zeke. Why could the Chiefs? They're starting offensive tackles less. They were really bad. The Chiefs actually had two of the worst tackles in the league against the pass. And that's why we talked about why they wet the fields, because they knew with the record-breaking pass rush, Mahomes would have been doomed. So had to figure out a way to help them out. And that was their best way of doing that. So, yeah, they had to get some good ones this time, or no way you could wet the field again next year. People would have caught on. So, yeah, it is what it is, but that's all I've got for you right now when it comes to the recap of the day. But I'm going to come right back, and we're going to talk about this Darius Slay move. Going to put together some graphics here for you, but appreciate you taking the time. You have any questions or comments, you see anything I missed, please feel free to let me know. But I shall return, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Have yourselves a great night. Hope to talk to you here in a minute, but as always, come on!